Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a full day of training vlog, full day of prep for the Open, which is now less than a month away. I think about 25 days away when I make this video, so maybe 24 days away. Oh my god, it's coming so quick. So this vlog is basically to show you all the workouts that I'm doing at the moment, that I am using in terms of like prep for the Open, why I'm doing certain exercises, how it's helping me, what I would recommend. All of the workouts will be on the screen at some point, so you guys can obviously exactly what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, and you guys can replicate the workouts if you fancy them, or if you don't fancy them, don't replicate them. But some of them are actually really fun, so just stay tuned for the workouts. So let's just get straight into this 21-minute EMOM, which is really spicy. So first of all, as you guys know, if you watch my last video, what to expect in the Open, which if you haven't seen, I will link in the top right hand corner now. I said in that video that I think that burpees is something that you cannot avoid. Like, it's going to be in the Open in some format. If it's not in the Open, then it's going to be in a lot of CrossFit workouts, and it's never a bad time to work on burpees, work on like burpee, I'd say endurance, because obviously it's mainly your heart, mainly like the cardio side of it, but also it is a bit muscular. Like, it is technically like half a push-up, I'd say. So having the strength in your arms and stuff to be able to do lots of them is super important. So obviously we have burpees here. But then in the next minute, you have around about an 80%-ish snatch is what it's supposed to be. Full snatch plus full hang snatch, or CrossFitters call it a squat snatch. So basically, this is just like a little bit of interference before you go into the lifting to kind of simulate that kind of CrossFit Open-y workout where you do some sort of like pre-fatiguing endurance exercises where your heart rate will be pumping and you'll be a little bit out of breath, followed by a heavy lift. It is something that you see all the time in CrossFit workouts, that you need to be able to perform, like execute heavy lifts when under fatigue. So that is exactly what we're doing in this WOD. So the workout is minute 1, 13 burpee box jump over. I finished with like 8 seconds to spare pretty much every time. I think the first round I didn't like go very fast, and I almost got time capped in the first minute. So just make sure you're not going too slow. Will obviously be RX versions on the screen now that you can do if you can't do that many. So 13 burpee box jump overs in the first minute. Second minute, you want to then do one full squat snatch or full snatch plus one hang snatch, which also has to be a squat snatch. This should be at around about your 80%, just a weight that is challenging enough that you could miss if you're lazy, but not too challenging that you feel like you're going to fail, because obviously we don't ever really want to fail 80%-ish lifts, especially under fatigue. Like, this is the time to kind of like test your technical capabilities and say, right, I'm able to lift this weight under fatigue. Where is the line that, like, once I cross that weight line, that is when I need to start thinking, right, I have to be more careful here because that weight is going to be too much. So today I did my top sets up to 63, which I will admit is not 80%, or maybe just a little bit over 80%. So ideally I would have gone heavier than that, but I just wasn't feeling it, to be honest. And I just wanted to execute like some really good snatches and feel good about myself, because my snatches, like, my back was hurting a little bit and I just didn't want to push it, and so I didn't. So I just executed some really good snatches at a weight that was challenging enough, but just like not too challenging for me to miss it and be upset. I don't know whether that sounds like a little bit like woe me or like boo-hoo because I was tired, didn't want to do it heavy, but I do that sometimes in like weightlifting sessions where like sometimes I'll just feel so deeply in my core that like today is not the day to lift heavy, that I just don't like try and push it, because I just think, even if that's not the truth, like even if my body is ready to lift heavy, if my mind isn't in it, I know that I've already lost half the battle. So if I ever feel like really strongly in my body that I cannot or don't want to lift heavy, then I just don't. That is like, period. That's just not something that I like. That's not something that I compromise on, just because I feel like I know myself well enough to know that if it's just not there, it's not there. I was a little bit limping here because my right lower back was hurting. I don't know whether it's because when I step up from the box jumps, whether I'm stepping up with one leg too many times and it just like blows up my lower back. But I also have these really bad like shin splint things that I get, which feeds into my hamstrings, which then hurts my lower back, which is why you'll see me like getting a bit, I don't know, what, like focusing on my lower back and touching my lower back and looking like I'm in a little bit of pain. It's because I am. I am trying to fix it, doing loads of different exercises to try and get rid of the shin splints and also kind of address my tight hamstrings, which do cause lower back pain. Then after the snatches and the burpee box jump overs, we just went into some pretty like standard bodybuilding-y stuff. I cannot emphasize the importance of strength when you're doing strict pull-ups, strict ring pull-ups. Something that we all need to be doing way more of. You can see I struggle to do like 4, and I need to be doing way more than that because we do so many pull-ups, so many chest to bars, and all of that stuff would be made so much easier if we just did strict strength, like strict chest to bars, strict pull-ups, strict ring pull-ups. It would make it so much easier. Also, this is a great exercise to kind of learn how to hold your core, not use your legs, which I'm evidently not doing very well, but we'll move past that. Now, even though I would consider the 21-minute EMOM that we started with as like an actual workout, because it did really get my heart going and it was tough, that didn't form part of my workouts of the day. That was like considered the strength part. So now we're getting into the actual like workouts of my workout. Say workout one more time. Workout. Right, so let's get into it. Now, this is a classic movement that could come up in the open. Any kind of like dumbbell hang, dumbbell snatch, dumbbell clean, dumbbell something always comes up. It's good for like grip strength, and it also does get your heart pumping a little bit. So it's a great exercise to practice, especially with heavier dumbbells. Something that we're seeing a lot more in CrossFit now. Like people will program stuff not with a 15 kilo for women, but with 22s and a halves for women now. Like that's what we're moving towards. So I would just say make sure that you are ready for that. So this workout will help you to do that, because you have the first round is 3 rounds of 20 dumbbell snatches plus a 200-meter run. The dumbbell snatches are 22 and a halves. Then you rest 1 minute and go straight into 20 dumbbell snatches with 15 kilo dumbbell and a 200-meter run. 3 rounds of that. So you do a lot of dumbbell snatches, like a lot of dumbbell snatches. Now the idea of the workout is to go unbroken. So with a 22 and a half, you do need to do 20 unbroken. If you can't, obviously, then you can't. Try to break it up smart, because you don't want to lose too much time, and just trying to make sure that like your grip doesn't get too tired. What I would say with dumbbell snatch is that you'll see my 2 different techniques. So before I was doing more of like an actual snatch and like bending my legs, whereas with this lighter weight, I just like muscle snatch it up. If you don't know how to do that, I would say that it is something that you can easily learn, and it actually does save a lot of energy and time by just like being able to dip under the dumbbell so that you don't need as much strength as what you would do to muscle snatch the dumbbell like this. So just something to consider. If you do want to learn how to do that, just let me know, pop it in the comments below, and I'll make a full video about how to do dumbbell snatches, or how to improve your dumbbell snatch technique, and how to like save energy and improve your technique, and also just like manage those heavier weights, because you will be seeing heavier dumbbells for both women and men, whether it's in the open or whether it's in any competition that you go to. I guarantee that is what we are going to see. Right, so now we are going into the machine piece, like the big cardio piece of the workout, which is like the end of the workout, which kind of bookends all of my workouts. Usually at the end of pretty much every single day, I will have some sort of longer machine conditioning or some sort of machine conditioning. A lot of the workouts that I do don't actually involve many machines. They obviously do sometimes, but I have been on like a bit of a block where I just focus on just machine conditioning, and then the workouts which have more just body weight stuff and like gymnastics and stuff like that. So this is a big conditioning piece which requires a lot of energy. I will say that right now. This is a really, really tough, like more mentally tough than anything, workout. Right, so as usual, as I said, I will always put the RX or scaled versions up on the screen, level 1, level 2, whatever you are, level 3. I did mine at the level 3, which is just like the standard RX workout. Basically, you have 7 minutes to complete 2 rounds of 13 calorie row, 13 calorie bike, and 13 calorie ski. So basically do 13, 13, 13, 13, 13, 13, and then the time that you have remaining of that 7 minutes you use as rest before you go into the next round, because it is 5 rounds of the 6 rounds. I hope that makes sense. It'll be on the screen anyway so that you can see it. This is a long conditioning piece, which if you take too chilled will actually come to bite you in the bum, because you then have like little to no rest time. I was finishing with, I think it was just over 2 minutes to spare towards like the first few rounds, and then after that I think I got down to like 1 minute 40 rest between rounds. Honestly, I just found it, like, I found the echo bike to be the hardest, and then to go from the echo bike into the ski, because I felt so gassed from the echo bike, I felt like I couldn't pull the ski. And then also my arms and my shoulders and triceps were absolutely blown from all the dumbbell snatches, so this felt particularly spicy, and honestly hurt a lot. But it was a great way to kind of like see what your output is and how hard you can push it, and then move on to the next machine. So obviously 13 calories isn't that many, so you can kind of like sprint it a little bit, but you can't sprint it too much, in that if you sprint it too much, then when you go on to the next machine, you won't be ready to like sprint the next machine. And there are like a total of 6 rounds within one round, so 13, 13, 13, you think, oh, that's like, I can do that, I can push that. But then if you have to go back round again, so you have to be quite smart about it and not like push too hard, in that will make you feel really tired, but also don't relax too much, because otherwise you won't have any time left to spare. And obviously that's not what you want, because you would like to rest. Now, I would just like to say that throughout my whole workout, I don't not eat or drink stuff, so obviously I haven't seen it at all. But leading up to the Open, I have been trying to take my nutrition a bit more seriously. After my first ever CrossFit competition, which if you guys haven't seen, I will link up in the top right hand corner now, I was like super focused, like laser focused before the competition, so that leading into it, I was like as fueled as possible. But then afterwards, I've kind of just been in and out of eating properly and like hydrating properly, and now I'm kind of trying to like dial it back in again to make sure that I'm feeling as good as possible. So during this entire WOD specifically, I have a little, basically a Gatorade, it's just a McDonald's own brand called ESO-ON. It's like a little bottle with blue liquid, just like Gatorade or whatever the other brand is. Hydration drink. Has like sugars, has hydration stuff, has salt in it, and it just makes me feel a little bit less tired and gives me like that little boost of energy coming towards the end of the session that I need. I also should usually snack on sweets between like the lifting session and the next part of the workout, just to make sure that I'm keeping fueled and keeping my energy up to be able to give as much as I can in the workouts, and make sure that I'm not like sort of dying off as the session progresses, because obviously each part of the workout has a purpose. And so if I get to the end of the strength bit and I'm feeling a bit tired, if I don't refuel properly, I just won't give my all to the cardio pieces, or like the dumbbell snatches and the running or this, and then it just ends up being that you just don't, or you won't progress as much, because you're not able to give these workouts as much as you give the first part, because that's just what the first part is. I think that plays a big part when you are learning, that if you want to be better, the things that you want to be better at, you should put at the beginning of your session when you're feeling freshest, and the stuff that you're already quite good at or you don't need to focus on, put that closer to the end, just because otherwise you will find that you'll put less effort into the stuff at the end and more effort into the stuff at the beginning. So you want to be quite smart about that. So that's basically my full session. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope that it shone a light on how I'm prepping for the Open and what I'm doing. Just pop any comments that you have in the comment section below, and don't forget, if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, as well as subscribe to my channel, even if it's for just the pain that I'm in here. Catch you guys in the next video. Bye.